I lived in ancient Greece. Here's how politics really worked. I have seen kings rise and fall. I have stood in the assembly, raising my voice with thousands of free men. I have watched tyrants rule with both wisdom and cruelty. I was born in Athens, raised in the shadow of the Acropolis. My father was a potter, an honest man, but without power. Yet, because of our democracy, I, his son, could stand among the most powerful men in the city and cast my vote on war, law, and justice. Let me take you back to where it all began. Before democracy, when kings ruled before Athens, before Sparta, before any of our great cities, we were ruled by kings. Not wise men chosen by the gods, but warriors who took power with their swords. Take Agamemnon, the mighty king of Mycenae. His will was law. His armies crushed any who opposed him. But what happens when a king grows weak? Agamemnon's kingdom was strong, but when invaders came, his city crumbled. One man's rule could not save them. And so we Greeks learned an important lesson. Kings are powerful, but they are also dangerous. Challenge question. Even today, some nations still have kings. Do you think a monarchy can ever be truly just, or does power always lead to corruption? The age of the oligarchs, when the rich took over, without kings, someone had to rule. And who better than those with land, wealth, and influence? So the noble families took power, forming councils to govern the city. They called it oligarchy, rule by the few. It was fair, they said. But fair to whom? In Sparta, real power lay in the hands of the Gerousia, a council of elders. The common Spartan had no voice, only duty. And yet, is our world today any different? The wealthy still control politics, influence laws, and fund leaders to do their bidding. The only difference is they no longer wear togas. Challenge question. Do the richest people in society still control politics today? Or do elections truly give power to the people? The tyrants, heroes, or villains? Many fear the word tyrant. But listen well, some were our saviors. Others our doom. Take Pisistratos. He did not come with an army. No, he came with a trick. The people were divided. So Pisistratos found a tall woman, dressed her as the goddess Athena, and rode into the city claiming the gods had chosen him. And the people believed. He ruled for years, not as a monster, but as a builder, giving land to the poor, encouraging the arts. When his sons took control, their rule turned cruel. And the Athenians, hungry for freedom, finally said enough. Challenge question. Can a dictator ever be a good leader? Or does absolute power always lead to disaster? The birth of democracy. When the people took control, a nobleman named Cleisthenes gave power not to kings, not to the wealthy, but to the people. For the first time, any free Athenian citizen, at least if he was a man, could vote on the fate of the city. I remember the first time I stood in the assembly. The sun rose over Athens as thousands gathered. Hands were raised. Voices roared. The assembly had spoken. Women, slaves, and foreigners had no voice. We praised Athens as a land of freedom. But was it truly a democracy for all? Or just for the privileged few? Challenge question. If Athens' democracy wasn't perfect, is ours truly fair today? Or do we still have a long way to go? Conclusion. How Greek politics shaped our world. Athens gave the world democracy, but it was a fragile thing. The question is, have we truly learned from it? Or are we still making the same mistakes? Now tell me, if you had lived in my time, where would you have stood? The freedom of Athens or the order of Sparta? Let your voice be heard.